Hi everybody, Dan Illman here for Weekend Wrap, taking a look back at last Saturday's Grade 1 $600,000 Alabama Stakes for 3-year-old fillies traveling a mile and a quarter. They break from the gate and we see Jerry Hollendorfer's runner, the number 3, It 'Tis Well, establish the early lead from Unchained Melody, who we expected to set the early pace. She is the number 5 in this spot after a gate-to-wire performance in the Mother Goose. The horse you want to keep an eye on, however, is the eventual winner, and that is the number 7, Elate, ridden by Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz is willing to give up ground here going into the first turn. 3 wide, and It 'Tis Well is now setting the pace. I think the key for Ortiz is he really doesn't want to get into any kind of traffic trouble. He'll eventually let Mopetism, the horse on the outside, get a spot, but he really isn't any sort of traffic issues. He'll get to the outside with no sweat. Meanwhile, It 'Tis Well is up front, setting a legitimate pace for this mile and a quarter distance. She runs very well for Hollendorfer, who won this race last year with the mighty Songbird. 23-2 for the first quarter. Unchained Melody is just not going to fire here. Something's going to go amiss on the far turn. She'll drop back to the back of the pack, and she will be eased. New Money Honey as the 4-1 close second choice, making her first start on dirt for trainer Chad Brown, is seemingly in a very good spot, down towards the inside, chasing this fast pace. She is going to struggle when the real running begins. And Queen's Plate winner, the number 2, Holy Helena, also up close to this solid pace. We know the distance, no problem for either Holy Helena or New Money Honey, but they just don't reach out over this dirt surface. Holy Helena better on Tapeta, New Money Honey obviously better on turf. Here comes Elate now with a 3 wide bid on the outside. She's eventually going to get to a game It 'Tis Well. It 'Tis Well fights on very strongly for Hollendorfer, but Elate is going better, and at the quarter pole, Elate has all the momentum. She takes the lead, is going to put It 'Tis Well just in a little bit tight, but It 'Tis Well is tiring, and from here, surprisingly, it is all Elate. She's going to draw off to win, and there's not much running from the back of the pack. You see the number 4 Lockdown, sort of one-paced. Eventually a runner that's going to get into third is the number 7 Salty, down towards the inside. Very late to change leads is Salty. That's the number 6, pardon me. But Elate's going to win this race very comfortably for Bill Mott. A breakthrough performance for this filly, who is second in her prior race, the Coaching Club American Oaks, and a narrow second it was behind Abel Tasman, who is the leading 3-year-old filly in the country, and certainly flattered by this performance. Elate, as the third choice in the wagering at 4-1, returns $10.60, keying a 7-3 $2 exacta, returning $155. Elate has a wonderful pedigree. She is another top filly produced by the stallion Medaglia d'Oro, and of course Rachel Alexandra and Songbird come to mind. The dam was a stakes-winning dirt sprinter, the second dam a grade 2 stakes-winning dirt router. This is the Rokeby Stables family of Sea Hero, who won the Kentucky Derby and the Travers Stakes. After Elate won her career debut, the sky seemed to be the limit for her. A lot of folks were talking her up as a potential Kentucky Oaks filly. It didn't work out in her next few starts, but Mott had slowly retained his confidence in Elate, dropped her down in class, got her some confidence-building wins. Then the big performance in her prior start, the Coaching Club American Oaks, followed by the breakthrough win in the Grade 1 Alabama. Mott says he doesn't want to turn her back in distance too much to a mile and a 16th. He does have 9 furlong options, but both are against older horses, the Beldame at Belmont, the Spinster at Keeneland, as we assume Elate is going to be prepped for the Breeders' Cup Distaff this fall at Delmar. As for It 'Tis Well, it was a really solid performance. Yes, she was able to get a lead without much pressure when the pace presser, the supposed pace presser, Unchained Melody, did not show up, but she hung in well to be second, while some of the other pace horses, Unchained Melody, New Money Honey, Holy Helena, they backed out to the rear of the field. Salty, who had trouble in her prior race, the Coaching Club American Oaks, off slow, wide bid on the turn. She had her chances to at least get second here in the lane. We saw very late with her lead changes. She's a solid filly, a mile and a quarter, probably a bit too far. Actress from the back of the pack seemed to just pick up pieces here. Lockdown finished 6th, and the mile and a quarter was too far for Lockdown, but I think the tactics utilized might not have really been to her best. She was coming into this race off 5 consecutive bullet workouts. I thought she'd be forwardly placed in this spot. Manny Franco had her well off the pace in behind horses. She loomed with a mid-race bid before flattening out. She probably needs a drop in class. As for Holy Helena, this was a disappointing performance considering she had won on dirt previously, but she really improved when shipped to Canada for the synthetic surfaces. As for Unchained Melody, she seems to be okay. She'll live to fight another day. New Money Honey, the same thing, probably on turf. But Elate breaks through with a big performance in the Grade 1 Alabama. She earns a 98 Beyer speed figure, and now she's going to tackle older horses, neither the Beldame or the Spinster.